Hi everyone, welcome back to another video on my channel. This morning I'm going to be painting a Cornish view of a place called Cape Cornwall. We've got sea, we've got land, we've got cottages. There's plenty going on. You'll see the painting unfold as I paint it. Again, I'm going to go for quite a nice day, quite a sunny day, and just try and capture the scene as best as possible. So let's get started. Now I'm going to start off just by using my mister bottle and spraying the paper just so I can get the paint moving around. And also, as I paint the first wash over the complete paper, I want to make sure I preserve my whites on the paper. I'm not using masking fluid, so I want to make sure that I actually don't paint over areas that I want to keep white. So let's give it a spray. Keep it quite simple today. There's quite a lot going on in the land, so I want to keep the sky relatively simple. Walk around there. Let's come down, and as I come down to the horizon, I'll just weaken the wash a bit and just paint it in. Indicate a cloud there. I'm just using a dry brush here just to lift. And this tip was given to me by one of my students. I'd never tried it before. But just lifting some colour out, rolling the brush on the page, just to suggest some clouds, soft clouds. So I'm just lifting the clouds out by rolling the brush around the page. And then just before it dries, I'm just going to put a little bit of shadow colour, a little bit of raw sienna, under the bottom of those clouds, just to give them a bit of interest. Like I am. Probably shouldn't. There we go, to the sky. And I'm just using a flat brush to paint in the horizon. Just so it merges in a bit. I want to make sure that I get all the different waves that are breaking out on just off the horizon, well, just in front of the horizon, and I don't obliterate all the white paper. And I want to keep varying my sea colours. There's some dark greens, I also want to drop some wet into wet. And there's a wave across here that I want to try and paint in. Keep looking as natural as possible. Let's put my glasses on. Not all hard edges. So I'm just, before the wash dries, I'm just softening parts of the wave, tops of the wave. Because if I leave it all with hard edges, it will just look as if it's, I don't know, cut out. It will just look too hard. Now I'm painting the inside of the wave. It's very deep, very dark. Fiddling then with a little brush. And we don't want to be doing that, not at this stage. Now down this area of the painting there's lots of white foam, so I want to keep that pretty much clear of colour at the moment. So I'm just going to go for some, it's kind of like a bluey colour where it's starting to hit up against all these little rocks down here. Okay, now I'm just going to start on the headland at the top here. I just want to put some warm washes in there initially, just to paint some of the rocks in first. So I'm just going to work my way down. Just work those out. Be fine. Now we're just going to spend some time working on these waves here a little bit. I just want to add some darker greens to where they curl under. So just a dark green there. Just adding it in. And making sure I break the edge up a bit so it's not too hard. Just a little bit under there. It's often just the little bits that create a nice impact. And just let that run out. Again with these waves in the distance, it's just indicating where the waves are. And I'm just dragging the brush across the surface of the paper. I'm not trying to paint it in as such. I'm just letting the tooth of the paper do the work. Just to sort of show where the waves are sort of rising up and breaking. And I'll just go back and in places just soften the edge so it's not a line. There's some rocks out here amongst where the surf's breaking out this area. We'll just drop those in. And all I'm going to use is some burnt umber and a little bit of ultramarine just to sketch those in. Again, I'm just going to put them in very roughly. I want to use a bit of dry brush around the bottom so it looks like the waves, the sprays coming up over the rocks, just like that. That's all you've got to do. And again with this side, just make sure I get the rough shape right. And that just looks like because I've got it, it's all jagged around the bottom, and it just looks like the surface hitting the rocks. Now we want to paint these foreground rocks in here where the sea's all breaking around them. Now this needs some warmer colour because I can see the some much warmer colours down there. So I'm first going to drop in some sort of raw sienna and burnt sienna colours like that. Just again, I want to place it in quite dry. Because I want to get those nice broken edges. And then quite quickly afterwards, I want to drop in some darker colours. I've got to get the right balance. Right, let's get some warmer colours as it's getting closer. Down here it's getting slightly warmer. Just want to get some of these, there's some stonework down here, I just want to get these warm colours in. So I'm just going to paint them in now. Making sure I leave my whites behind. Whites I want to put that in with a bit of paint. Just so it blends in. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the headland area up here and just, without overdoing it, just put in some detail. Just sort of suggest some of the, I don't know, what's going on up there. Hard to know what's going on up there really. I'm just looking at the overall colours and just trying to paint some in. Now I'm just putting in the last of the real darks and just picking out any little individual rocks that stand out. I'm not trying to paint every one, just pulling out one or two as I see them. Now we're just going to put some darks in down on the fronts here. We're just having a little look at the picture, at the painting. And I'm just blocking in the darks roughly. Just going to put that in there. This wall here is deep in shadow, so we'll just pop that in. Okay, that wall. Grayer. So I'll just pop that in there. There's a little cottage there we'll just put in quickly. It's quite sort of a browny colour. Quite a. We're just going to literally keep it quite simple. The shape. I don't want to start getting. Okay, if it doesn't look right later, it might probably needs to be darker. I'll come back to it because there's quite a dark area here going on. But some shadow on that wall there. So basically, I'm just going around and I'm putting all the car shadow that I can see. I don't want to spend a long time there. There's some car shadow there. We'll come back to those areas later. Just put the little bits of shadow in we can find now. So I'll just work my way around the paper, painting, getting a feel for what's happening. Shadow down there. So yeah, just drop this little bit of blue in on the cottage. Add a little bit of warmth to it, just to grey it out slightly. I'll let the mixing happen on the page. Okay, I'm just adding some more shadows, quite warm shadows being cast in places. Little shadows up here on the rocks, just suggest those. Basically just keep the picture, keep it moving, and just sort of once you if I do a bit here, say, then I've got to sort of balance it somewhere else. So it's just constantly making sure that the painting is in balance and that you haven't overworked one area with ignoring another. You know, it's a constant sort of juggling act, really, of see now we've got those darks and there's quite a nice light actually appearing in that part of the painting. Before that was kind of lost, it wasn't there. The minute you place some darks in, you then start getting that interest. You know, the darks, as we all know, it's the darks that make the lights in watercolour painting. Without darks, you won't have lights. Okay, now what we need to do now is do the foreground, and we need to get that in quick because I want to keep that very loose. I don't want to get fiddly, and then we can see, once we've got the foreground in, we can then see what we need to do behind me. So I'm going to use some big brushes for this, well, bigger brushes, and get some colour in there pretty quick. Just going to start blocking these colours in, a mixture of warm and cool. I'm going to vary my colours so I keep them interesting. Talked about that a lot. But remembering this is the foreground, so it's got to have a bit of punch to it. It's got to have some interest. So I can let that run in. Pick up some blue to cool it down, to grey it out in places. Because if you see, we want to keep it down here. There's going to be some bushes going on. So let's just draw that in. Now I've got to come back down to the bottom, this area, and get that kind of like a bramble bush or something just in here. Something like that. And then there's some bits going on over here. A bit too bright. So if I do something, all I can do is just put some blue on it. Hopefully work it through a bit. Now there's some shadows down here. It's kind of bringing your eye. There's a wall or something. Sort of so this is just getting some framework in to work on before it dries. Now I'm starting to put sort of starting. Just want to see if I can scrape some shapes out here. Just some lighter twigs, because it's not all dark. So I'm just basically using, you can see that, just a blade just on its side to pick out some lit gorse. So we'll just try and add some gorse to it. I'm just going to pick out some neat cadmium yellow. That's all I'm going to go with. And I'll see if I can start just putting some in. So it's basically just neat, you know, without any water. Just putting it into the paint. I'm trying to. Hi everyone. We're back again. Yeah, I stopped last night because it was getting too dark and I couldn't finish the painting. But it's kind of finished anyway. I've had another look at it this morning, and I can't really see what else I can add to it. So yeah, there we go. There's the little study of Cape Cornwall. I'll just put a mount round it and we'll have a look, see what it looks like. The minute you put a picture mount around the painting, it improves it an awful lot. It makes it look much more finished just by sort of ending those edges sharply. It creates a much crisper, neater look. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video and you got something out of it. I'll be doing more paintings like this soon. I love painting Cornwall. It's beautiful, beautiful landscape, beautiful colours. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks ever so much for watching, and bye for now.